When I submit, you see here inside the gate, I pass. Members, I hope you're following. I pass the name, I pass here the name, I pass the country, and I pass the age in this gate, okay, and gender. So it means that it will pass this level of question. Then after, I get this information from the gate. After getting the information from the gate, I create the SQL that inserts that information that has been received from the gate, and then after that, creating that SQL, I execute it. And in case it executes successfully, I set the code to 1. I set the message new student has created successfully, and I get the response. I get all the data of the student that was created from the gate, and then I encode it into a JSON encode, and I print that data. Then that's why we see the response. We are having what we are having. Let me come here to JSON formatter to show you the response, to turn it into a human form. So if I come here and I show you this response, we have code 1, message is equal to that. Then the data is an object of a user who has been registered. So you can see, and that one will only be set when there was successful registration. So when it fails, you can see here the response will be 0, and we can put the message it failed while recording. And you can see the output is only JSON, no graphical user interface here. No graphical user interface. So if you produce this data, it means that anyone who is using JavaScript, who is using PHP, who is using a mobile app, who is using anything, they can integrate our code, our project, into their projects, because we just produce data only. And that process of producing data only that can be readable by any other programming language is what we call API. Okay, so here I created another JSON. This JSON will be listing the students. It gets all the students. I created another endpoint which is called student.php. So what does it do? It gets all the students. So for example, here you can see I have student. I have response. I have the response, and I have select all from students. So I get select all. Then I fetch all of them. I push them inside the inside the students array, and after I put those students inside the inside the code, or inside the data, and the code I make it 1 and make the message student were found. Okay, so after I encode the JSON, and I print it, or I echo it. So here it means that if I come here, I put stroke students.php. Can you see? I have this kind of code. So if I copy it, I come and paste it here, I'll have this kind of code. You see, code is 1, message is here, and then the data is an array. I told you the square brackets represent an array, and then is an array of objects. So you have the first object with the first student, and the second object, the second student, and the third object, which is another student. So we are going to make a simple project where we are going to use AJAX to register a student, and we are going to use AJAX to present those students in our table. So that's what we're going to make. Any questions so far? Members? Okay, so to create a user interface, so this is just an API. It's just something that is independent from the project. Now I'm going to create a user interface here. Here I'm just going to create a new file. Let me get the whole project and add it there. Okay, so here I'm going to create another user interface file. Okay, and now that file is the one that will be responsible for creating the user interface that the user will be able to see. For example, let me come here and see this one. Let me see what will this one do. Okay, I'm just going to save this one as API UI, for example. I'm just going to save it as API user interface, API underscore UI, and it can be HTML, it can be PHP, no problem. So if I come here and put stroke API UI, no, it's outside the API, it's just on top of jQuery. So I'll have this empty thing. Okay, so here I'm going to put my form that I'll use to add the student without refreshing the whole page using AJAX. So to do that, I'll just simply put class of container I'll put a class of what? Of container. I'm going to put here my what? My simple form of adding a student. Let me just come and get bootstrap form here. Okay. So let me get a bootstrap form here, a simple bootstrap form here. I'm available. Mr. Solida, I'm available. Make a party telepathy done. Available, yeah. So I have this form. I'm going to just paste it here, and this form is going to have let me put here maybe a label. Hadi, learn how to arrange your code smartly. I'm not mocking you, but I'm telling you the fact. If you don't want to listen from your teacher, I don't know who you listen to. Okay, so we are making a form. Okay, what do you need about a student? We need let me see here, come to API and come to register student. This is what they are looking for from a student. So we are going to do what? To create them here. So we have a name, so I'll put here ID of a what? Of a name, and I'll put here full name. Okay, so we have name here, and then ID for name. I hope everyone can do this. I have name, have country. So I have let me just get here country there. Okay, so I'll just put here country. This is ID for what? I mean, I can give it just ID country. So I'm going to put here for country, and then I'll just put here country. Okay, so let me just duplicate this one, Ctrl Shift D. Members, I hope you're following. Don't use your mobile phones while in class. If you use them, then you're cheating your own self, because you're the one paying for your courses. So, and then lastly, the gender, and gender, this I can make it just a simple what? A simple select. Okay, so let me make it a select. So I'll just put here select, and I'll put here gender, and I'll put here the ID. In fact, here the name is not much necessarily required. Okay, and then I'll put here value of male, and also put here male, and put here female. I'm creating the form. put here female, and it's having the ID of gender, so I'll come and put here for gender. There we go. So let me age. Haven't I worked on it? Age, I finished it, so I'll just delete this one. So let me put my last button for submit. Okay, so just put here my button and I'll call it submit. Okay, I can even put this button outside the form if I want, no problem. I can even just put it here, no problem, because I'm going to submit using what? Using AJAX. So this button can be anywhere. So I'll just put here the button outside here. Let me give it a class btn, then btn lg, and then btn primary. So if you come here, we'll have something like this, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to, I can just come and put this button here. Okay, let me put maybe M3. So if I come and refresh here, I'll have something like this. So I click on this button, I want to do the action of submitting. So let me give this one plus control. Of form control. Okay, now let us start writing our what? Our file. So I have something beautiful like this. Now let us start doing what? Writing our JavaScript. Any questions so far, members? Here? Is there any question?
No.
No. Okay, so if one answers, I'll assume all of you is the same question. So I'm going to put here the what? The ID of this button. I'm going to call it submit. Okay, submit btn. Okay, so I'm going to catch this ID. So my script, I'll put it here in the bottom. Usna, can you see what I'm doing? So okay, the ready event. Can you see where I put the script? Where it is recommended to be put? In the bottom, not on top like the way you did. But it's okay. But if you want to be faster pages, you better put it in the bottom. So I'll select the button, which is equal to $sign button. Then I'll select the what? The input. I'll set the click listener dot what? Dot click listener. Then here I'm going to put fetch data function. I can either do the whole logic here, or I can do it from outside inside another function, just as I wish. So I can just put here my global variables, okay, so that they can be accessed anywhere, and these are the variables that I need to do what? To get. For example, I have name, so I can just put name, maybe underscore val is equal to nothing. Okay, that should always be set to avoid errors. So I'll need what? I'll need country, and country value is equal to nothing. And then that value is just my naming. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it should always be compulsory to be put there. The age, and then lastly the gender. The what? The gender. So we have that. We have these in place. Now I want to put the values. Now the real values. Okay. So for example, I want to collect this information when someone clicks on what? When someone clicks on submit here. Okay, I want to collect this information. So to collect that information, it means that name value is what will be inside this input. Okay, so name value will be, so what will I do? I'll select this name input, this one. And how do I select it? Using $sign and then hash name. Remember, I named this one as what? As name. and then to get the value I have to put dot what, dot val. You remember those things? Do you still remember? Dot val. So dot val will get the value of an input, the value of that is inside the what, input. Let me put it in the console and you see what is happening. Or I can just alert it, alert, and say name is, or I can just put name and then I put the name, so plus the name underscore what, underscore val. So here to tell me the name. Okay, members, I hope you understand this. Fat, do you understand this? Fatmat, you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me refresh here. I just hit submit. You see, name is nothing. Okay, so name is nothing. So I will just put here Muhindo bar. So if I submit, you see, name is Muhindo Mubarak. Submit, name is Muhindo Mubarak. So there I'll be able to do what? To get the name. So what else? The country. So to get the country, I'll just do the same thing. So I just duplicate these things and get the country. Or I can even create a what? I can first validate. Okay, so to validate, I'll just say if what? If name dot what? Dot length. Dot size or dot length? Dot length. I think that's how we did in JavaScript. Dot length is the bracket. I don't know. Is less than what? Is less than 5. For example, is less than 3. Okay, there's no name which is having short name than 3. If it's less than 3, then I can alert that name is too short, and then I will do what? I will return, so that the program should not continue in case the name is too short. You see, I get the name value and then I check if it is its length. This is how we check the length. This is how we get the length of a certain string in JavaScript. So I check if its length is less than 3. I just say name is too short and then I stop from here, so I'll not proceed. So I refresh. If I submit, is it dot length or dot size? Don't remember. I think it's dot length without a bracket. Yeah, it's dot length without a what? Without a bracket. That's how we get a what? Length of a certain attribute. So you see, if I submit without adding anything, name is too short. So if I put food, you see, it is not causing any more error. So after doing that, I'll do the same for what? For the country. So that's validation being made there. So I get the country there, and then I select the country. I remember I just use the word name country, and then I'll just check if the country is too short. I can say country is too short. Okay, so if I refresh here and I submit, you see it is showing only for the name. You see, it is showing for the name and it does not proceed to the country. Why? Because there is a return here. So if you fail this level, you will not proceed. That's why it is not doing with the both. So if I first put the name and I submit, now you can see it is now checking for the second one because it has passed this level. So I can put now something in the country and then I submit. You can see now there's no more problem. So let us get the age. So the age, I'll not even check its validity. Okay, I'll check if it's less than what? If it's less than 1. And the age is just what? Age what? Age val. And then I'll just put here age. Remember, I use the age here as the name of the ID of age. So I'll check if the age is too short. I can say age too short or age not mentioned. If in case is less than what? Is less than 1. And then it will stop at this point. Then lastly, I'll also get the what? The I'll get the gender. So to get the gender, I'll just copy that, just come and duplicate this one. In fact, there should be age value. So let me get the gender. I just come and copy gender value. I just duplicate it, this one, and I just put members. I hope you're following attentively. So here's the gender, and I get the gender the gender value. I can say gender is not mentioned, and then if it pass all these, I can say validation successful. So let me just alert here and say validation successful. So it means that this validation successful will only be executed after testing the length of all these values and after getting their values. Okay, and remember, these are global global variables. They are outside the function. It means that every function that want to use these values, it can do it can access them. Why? Because they're outside every function. Remember, global variables in C programming, they can be accessed anywhere in the program. So I'll refresh here. If first name is too short, then okay, let me put the name, and then country, I submit. Age is too short, so I submit. Validation successful, because here it's already it's already male, okay, or female here, so it is now successful. So if I can do that, it means that I'm now ready to do to do the registration process, and I'm going to do the registration process using using AJAX. So far, is there any question, members? So here, when it is validated successful, then I'm going to create another function. I can put that thing here of registration, but I'm going to separate concern. Now I'm going to put the function for registration. Okay, I can call it register underscore student. So that's why I'm going to put the function to do the AJAX of registering student. Okay, so I'll come and create this function inside this ready event, but down. So I can put that function here. So just say function, and then I put that, and then I start creating the function. So how do you create the function? This is where I'm going to register the function. So I just say AJAX. Okay, so write AJAX, and I press enter. Everything will be filled for me. So if you guys are not watching the videos, you have to watch from my videos, because I simplify things. I simplify things. So if you watch from other place, you may find it hard to write these things by yourself. But first, from the video, it will be a little bit simpler. So you see, that's my AJAX, and there you see I will call this function when I've finished validating and I've finished setting these values. Then I'll call the function of register student. So here I write the AJAX. Press the tab key, press enter. Then I have the URL. Of course, this URL is where we're going to put is where we're going to put the link that will do the registration, that will point at the registration process. But remember, the link that is pointing to our registration process is a link in our API, and this API is within this folder, but I have to enter inside this API folder. So I'm going to just put API underscore, and then I enter inside register here. So I'll be able to do register. So I'll just come here and say this is the file path. So it's going to be API. Remember, the file is here, this one, API UI, and the file that I want to use to register is inside the API folder. So I'll have to enter into API, and then I put stroke register .php. I hope that's the file that we're using, this one, that registers file. I hope we are together. Okay, so that is the path. What next? What do I want to use? For example, here we say that you're using what? You're using get. You're expecting the get. And this get will have the name, the country, the age, and the gender. All of them must be sent. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change here and say the type is going to be what? It's get. So if it is post, you also leave it in who? Post. So by doing this, it means that the parameter that I'll send, they'll be set in form of get. So here they ask me, what am I expecting to be returned? For example, if I can ask you, what do you expect? Which type of file do you expect to return after registration? Husna? Husna? Husna?
No.
Which type of data do you expect to return after the registration? Answer. We created that. You don't know? But we created this API together for registering. And you see the final thing that is a JSON that is returning. Really, you don't know? So we are here, we should expect a what? A JSON. Members, try to follow. Try to follow. So here I'll remove all these other and I say JSON. Can you see here? I'm just putting a path and I say I'm going to use get to send the information. I'm going to use what? Get to send the information to this registration file. Okay? Then what else? They say, which type do you expect to receive? Is it HTML? Is it XML? Is it just plain text? Is it what? I say I'm expecting to receive what? To receive JSON. So if I put I expect to receive JSON, so they'll encode the object that will be returned to me from that file into what? Into JavaScript objects. Do you understand here, members? Hadi, do you understand this? Up to here.
No, last class I was not.
You are not there, but you are there. You are not attentive.
I was doing work by then.
The videos are there. Fatima, do you understand this line number 88, 89, and 90? Huh?
Yes.
And number 88 does what?
It does after the form has finished. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What is the line of 88? Just explain line by line.
If when the form has finished.
No, explain line by line, not the group of code. What is line 88? What is the meaning of 88?
It is a URL link
That?
for the file.
Very good.
It has to be loaded.
That's what I want you to answer. Very good. So this is where we're going to submit the form, right?
Yes.
89.
Yes, the type of the form.
Very good. That's how we explain line by line. Then
and then
90.
we just explained that one right now.
What is it?
After the register, that is the form itself. After it has finished loading, then the JSON will be.
The what?
The JSON will be loaded.
Will be printed. Will be printed on the other side. That's what it means. So we say here we are expecting what? We're expecting JSON. That's what it means. Yeah, that is very good. So here we start sending the data. This last part. Those are the parameters. So we start sending the data. What's the first data that these guys are expecting? A registration. They're expecting a what? A name. So here you put the name of what you're sending. For example, the first one is a name. And remember, we have already collected the name value, which is here. So I'll pass here the name as the name value. So I'll not put in quotes because it's just a value itself. Okay? What else? So I put comma. They're expecting a what? A country. So I'll also put here country, put colon, and then country value I already collected. It is here. Okay? So I'll put their country value. What else? They're expecting a what? Age. and then I'll put age colon and then age what? Age value. What else? They're expecting gender. I'll just put gender here, put colon and then put gender value because I already created them. So this information will be encoded into get and then sent to the what? To this file when it is doing the JSON. Okay, so this one will be just like it is executed and then it will receive the information that we send to it into get. If we are to use post, I just put here what? I'll use post. Did you understand that? Up to here. Hosna, did you get it? Hosnat?
No, yeah.
Do you understand here? The data here. The data
Yeah.
part. Okay. So if it is successful, then we attach there the listeners. I mean the listeners. If it is successful, it will execute this. If it fails, it will execute this. And it will always execute this. So I will remove this dot done. I just remove dot always. So if I want to listen to it always, I can even remove this dot always and I just put a semicolon here. So success and error, one of the two. So I can alert here, alert, and say failed. And then on success, I will have to receive the what? The data. You get it, Fatmata? Like here, it will echo the what? A JSON. And that JSON I'll receive and put it inside the what? Inside the console. And how do I receive that event? I mean, whatever I send back, I'll just receive it here. I can call it E, I can call it data, I can call it anything. I'll just receive through this function. So whatever I receive, I'll put it inside the console. Did you understand that, members? Members, did you understand that? Respond.
Yes.
Yes.
You understand it, right?
Yes.
So now let us do it now. So I'll just come and refresh. I will go inspect and then start putting some data. So I just come to console, clear the console. Let us start putting some data. Name Muhindo bar, country Gambia, age 11, male. So I click on submit. Can you see? It failed. It failed. So if you go to the console, you can see here the error is here. 404. What does that mean? And you can see here the link that was sent to. So JSON helped us and created this content. Can you see the link? JSON helped us and created. jQuery helped us and created, encoded our form into this form, into a get form by our own way. So they say this file was not what? The file that you're trying to request was not found. And you can see here, it is right. Fatimata, can you see the error, where it come from? It's supposed to be what? It's supposed to be?
Register. I.
Aye, very good. So let us refresh again and see. So I'll put here Muhindo Barak, and then put here country Uganda, age 23, and then male. Okay, let me clear the console. So I click on the console, submit. Can you see? Success. So it means that when it was successful, it executed this one, and you can see our JSON has been encoded. Can you see? It has been encoded. It means that that student has been entered in the page. In the database. But do we refresh the whole page? The answer is no. But you can see here the data has come back. So I can first check my code here. For example, if I want to get this code, I'll just put, say, copy path. Okay? Members, be attentive here. Can you see? If I want to get this code, I'll just say copy path. Remember, I'm the one who designed this my own model just. So it is equaling this response. I have the code and then the message itself and then something like that. So I can just say if but this data is the one to begin with because it is attached on this data. So I say if data dot what dot code, and then I can say alert, then I can alert the what, this is in case of success, okay, or I can alert, remember I even have the message that comes from that side, okay, I have the message that comes from that side. So if I can say this one, if is equal to what, is equal to 1, and then I can decide what to do at the moment. So I'm going to just get the message that comes from this side and then alert it. So if I don't check, okay, in case it is 1, then I'll delete the form. In case it's not 1, then I will not delete the form. I'll leave it the way it is because there is I can be able to do what to proceed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just say alert if code is equal to 1. Remember I set this code to be 1 in case there is successful registration, no successful thing. So if data.alert is equal to 1, then I can say I will alert the data dot what dot message. Remember I'm the one who created this message here. It is here, right? So I just come and copy path, and then I put dot that path. Okay. So after, it means that that's all. The user has been what? Has been registered. Then I can put else part. I can alert in case it fails. So in case it fails, of course it will not be what? It will not be 0. Okay. So I want to, okay, let me refresh again. So I can come here, Muhindo back again, Bangladesh, 22, female, submit. Can you see? New student was added, was created successfully. And you say okay, and this object will be put in a what? So every time you submit, it submit. But is the page refreshing, Husna? Husnata?
No.
Is the whole page refreshing?
No.
No. So that is the power that I want you to know, and I want you to be able to use. Like you can do anything that you want without refreshing the page. And you can see these people have been registered to the what? To the database, because this code is only executed when there is successful registration in the database. So here, when it is successful, I want to do what? To clear the form. So I can just get all the forms, since I have only one form. So I can just get all the forms. So all the form elements, and then I put the what? Dot reset. jQuery has a function called dot reset. So this dot reset will delete everything in the form and make it like original form. So for example, I add here another student. You see, when I click success, not dot reset, is it dot this dot reset? There is dot is it dot reset? I forgot the name of the function. Dot. Let me search it. Reset from jQuery or JavaScript. Reset form in jQuery. Form ID, I put 0 dot reset. How to pass 0 like this. Okay, let me first give this form an ID. Maybe that's why it is not working, but I don't think. So the form, maybe that's why it is not working. So I have to give it ID, this one. You see what I'm trying to say, like this data is supposed to be deleted after registering a what? Registering a student. So refresh here. Let me have this reset. It's not working. They say I should pass here what? A 0. So form, let me pass here array of 0 and we see if it fails, then we shall find a way out. I want to reset the form, the whole of it, immediately after registering a student. That's what I'm trying to do. Still it fails. Let us see. Dot reset. Why is it not working? Let me search for another. Not clear. Dot reset. You're having this one. The trigger reset. I think. Let us try this. Okay. The trigger what? Reset. Okay. Let's refresh. I want this data to be deleted after submitting a student. Click success. Yeah, it's working. So have you seen that thing? We have the trigger, then you pass reset, then that form will be resetted to its original data. I hope you understand that. Okay, now we want to put the what? The table of students here. I want to put the table of student here, and I want to use AJAX to get the table. I mean to put the student inside. Okay, I will not fetch that table directly using PHP, but I'm going to use AJAX to fetch the students. So let us also again be attentive here. So to do that, I will so let us be attentive here. I'm just going to create, should I make them in a table, or I should just make some simple cards? Let me make some cards for these students. I'm just going to create a simple card like this. Let me see. I'm going to make a simple card like this one. Okay, so I'll put here name of the student, his country, his age, and then maybe a read more button. I can just simply, I'm going to put here a div. Okay, I'm going to put a what? A div. I can just put a table. Let us put a table to make it simple. So I'm going to present the students using what? Using AJAX, without using the jQuery itself. Which one should I use? Let's use this one. So I'll just come here and create, after the form, I'm going to create this table. So if I come and refresh, we have this table of students. So I can put here the what? I can put here the name, I can put here, I can first begin the ID, I can put the name, I can put country, I can put age, and I have to put the what? The gender. Okay. So I want only a single row to be left there. Right now I'm not going to use PHP to put the data in this table. So if I refresh, I have something like this. Okay, now I'm going to create a function that will be updating this table, or that will be adding values in this table. That's the function I'm going to create. So to create that function, I'm just going to put that function here. I'm just going to say how am I going to do it. I'm going to create that function here. I can call it update what? Update table. And then I have to begin the word what with the keyword function. So what will I do? So I will first delete everything inside this table. So here in the table body, I'm going to give it id t body. Okay, so I'm going to get the table body here by simply saying t body. So if I say tbody.html and I pass nothing, now let me call this function. I see if it will delete everything that's in the table, inside the table. I hope so, because I've never used it before. So that's the table. I want to delete these things here that are there. So delete them here. After loading, I'm going to do what? To call the function. Okay, after creating it, then I'll call it. Just on the load, I'll just call it immediately. So you see, it deletes everything. You see, it deletes everything. Now let's see if it can append something. So I'm going to append this real content, okay, because that is what the table understands. So here, after deleting, I'm going to append the data. So it will be t body. That's the one that I use. Dot what? Dot append. So I'm going to append here this format. Okay, and I already have it here. So I'll have to organize it because if in JavaScript when you press a new line, it will be something else. So I have to remove all the new line spaces. I hope you're following. I'll have to remove all the new lines, and then I'll put here a semicolon. It's just appending it. I hope it will work. Perfect. Okay, let us explain before we proceed. Okay, before we proceed. Hosna, are you there?
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain what I'm just making, so that you should understand everything. So this is my what? My table, right? Right? You get me?
Yeah.
So try to follow. We're going to finish. Don't worry. This is my table. It is having the head, and it is having the what? The body. I give this body an ID of tbody. Fat, you're following, right? And Hadi, are you following, members?
Yes.
Yes. Just be strong. We're going to finish. Okay. So you're having a tbody here, and then here is the tr, the t row, and inside the row we're having 1, the 2, the second, and the third. These are the ones that are matching with this one. But I want to be appending, I want to be putting elements inside this t row. So I give it a what? An ID. So after doing that, I just create a function that is going to be updating this table head, table body.
You need one more row for your age.
For the one more column or the one more
Table row.
table column. I think they are there. This is a single row. I'm having the ID here, and the AJAX Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah. I think, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was needing that one. Okay, so I have that. So I want to be appending these each time I do what? I update the table. So you see here inside update the table, I first delete everything in the body. If, for example, that's my algorithm, I want first delete everything in the body. After deleting everything in the body, I'll append this single row format. And you saw me how I created it. I just copied the other format. I can as well remove this scope. So if in case I want to put anything, I can do anything I want. And this is TR. So in JavaScript, you cannot press a new line. Okay, you cannot do like this. That's not allowed. You can either put them on the same line, or you just put this double quote and then put plus to concatenate them. Then you can do it on a new line. Okay, for example, I can as well do it like this. Put this one, and then a plus, and then here I have a right to put it in a new line. Fatimata, get me? So I'll get this ID. Fatima, are you following? I get the ID here of this T body. This T body. I get its ID. I hope you're following, Fat.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So here I get the ID of this T body, and it's where I want to be appending a row. You know what's meant by append? It's just to add something inside. Okay. So I have this T body, and then I use append. I already discussed the append in the previous classes. I first clean everything inside the T body and I append. I told you that in JavaScript you cannot put like new line like this. No. That's not allowed, even though it's a string, because new line means something in JavaScript. So what am I going to do? If I want my code to be organized, I can just append, and I put these codes to solve the string, and then I put plus. So in order I should be able to do that, to break the string. Tata plus. Musa, are you getting?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Okay. So you see, I have a T row, and then here I'm appending something. So even if I delete these things, I can delete this one. So what I need is just the structure of a table. I can as well append the whole table as it is. So you see here, I append something. Now I want to append what? The real data. I want to append the real data. So it means that I will have to get the data from the what? From the database, and then I loop through them. Okay. So I want to be receiving here, for example, I can loop through the whole HTML, or I can just be sending some data to append through this. So, but let me just use the AJAX to get the data. So how do you use AJAX? I'll just say AJAX, okay, and then I give the path. Now you hear what we need now. We need now the path of what? Of all students here, not for just a student, but for all student. So I'll just put here API stroke what? Stroke student. I know if I do like this, I'll get a list of all students in form of JSON. This list is what I want. Okay. So let us put this list in a, let me get the list. So after getting the list, I'll say I'll use get. It doesn't matter here, because I don't want, I just want to, I'm not sending anything there, I'm getting just the list. So I just say I'm expecting what? I'm expecting JSON, and then I'll come here on the on success, here on fail, I'll just alert, I say failed to get students list. Okay, that's on fail. Then on always, I remove it, I'm not interested in it. Okay, so here on success, okay, I'll get that information of student. I can call it D, and then I put it inside the what? Inside the console to see how it is structured. Any question here so far? I think no. This is just an AJAX of getting students. And remember, inside the file of students, I'm just listing the student inside the JSON like this one. Okay, so let's refresh. And let us go to the console. Remember that function is just automatically called. So refresh. So here I get the students, I'll add get student, then whatever I get, I just put them inside the console when they are done. Okay, so refresh. Yeah, you can see. Can you see? This object of student has been entered here. Members, can you see that? Can you see this?
Yes.
So if I refresh this function, remember I call it after creating it. So what does it do? It goes asynchronously and fetch the student's JSON in this file, in the other file, and then after getting the JSON, I put that JSON inside the what? Inside the console. I receive it from here. So that's why you can see here I have that JSON. And remember, how did I create that JSON? I was looping and put all the information inside the students array, and then I put those students inside the what? Inside the data. Inside the data what? Inside the data response. So it means that, and I convert that response into a JSON. So it means that you can see here, if we try to understand this code, is having the code which is 1, that is means success according to my API, and the message students were found. And now the real data of student is inside what? Is inside data. Fatumata, can you see it? Fat, can you see the data? And JavaScript, I hope you can see the data, right?
Yes, I can.
And JavaScript has helped us to convert this data into what? Into array, just jQuery. So if I want this data, I can just right click here and say copy what? Copy path. So if I come here to this data that I'm putting in the console, here, and I put dot what? Dot copy path that I copied, I paste it, I will be able to do what? To see only the list of students. So if I refresh here, now you can see only it's a what? It's a list of students. So it means that that's how I can get the list of what? A list of students. So I'm going to create a loop, and I'll be looping, I'll be putting that data inside. I'll be adding a row inside this form, inside this table. So to loop is just like C programming loop. For what? We have a for loop and a for each loop. So let me explain this. We have a variable I, that means the I is increasing. We have things dot length, and the thing that we are looping is the what? Is the data. So it's just data dot length. This one will tell us the size of our what? Of our array. Okay? So it is beginning from the last here. Okay? So -1. So it means that shouldn't go beyond this one. You understand this one, right? I just say variable I, this means like int I is equal to data length -1. I can okay, let me change it to the normal loop that you understand, because it's trying to start from the what? From the last. Okay? I just say I is equal to what? Is equal to 0. You understand that? Then I can say I is less than what? The length of our data. And remember, this data is the number of students, d dot data, and then dot length to tell us the size of the student. And then say I what? I plus plus. Okay? And then when I'll be looping, I'll be adding here a row here between here. Husna, do you understand this loop? Here I'm looping through the data that I get from the database. Do you understand the loop, Husna?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you get the loop? How did that?
Yes.
You understand it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here in this loop, I want, when I'll be looping, I want to be appending this row, and we appended it together with nothing. So I'm going to copy that logic of appending a row and just paste it here inside the loop. Just the same thing. So just organize my code. Heidi, you should be organizing your code.
Okay, I will be organizing next time. I heard you.
Okay. So there my code is organized, and it's readable and understandable. So every time I loop, I'll be appending the row, a single row, using JavaScript. So if I refresh, can you see those things have been added here? So I want now to put now the real data. Okay, so which data do I want to put? I want to put the age, I mean the ID. So if I expand here, I can see those objects inside the console. I can just put each object here inside the console. So I can just say d.data, and then if I want a specific object, remember it is an array. So I'll have to, if I want to substitute here, so I have to stop it and then put plus plus, and then between this plus it's where I can specify. So here I'll specify I, because it's the I that is changing to get a single particular object. Then I'll put dot whatever I want. For example, if I want the ID, you see here each object is having an ID, so I'll just come and copy path here and then I put dot ID. You see, dot ID. So I should be able to go do what, to get the IDs of these people. So if I refresh, can you see the IDs have come? Okay, so what else? I want the, so I can copy this one and replace it with this. I can just come and press enter. What else? I want the name, right? So if I come here, the object that I get from the what, I have something called name. And remember, these are coming from the other side of jQuery. So I just put here dot what? Dot name. I mean dot name. So if I come and refresh, you see the names will be updated. So let me do this for the rest. I have the name. I want the what? I want gender. So I hope I use the gender. And then lastly, I have country. Remember, I use just the word country. And then I have the age, which is just put here dot age and remove this. I hope members you understand, right? Please just stop this tr tag and then I add the value, the real value, and then append the other thing. So that's JavaScript for you, baby. So if I refresh, syntax, plus here, I have to put a plus. Refresh. So you can see the data has been updated. Let me not make this file, this format funny. Let me just put a table bordered. So if I refresh, can you see? That's what you have. Okay, that's so bolded because I use the what? The th and tr. So I put here td and put here td, the data will look normal. Okay, so that is it. So I want to, let me first delete everything in the table. So I'll come here, localhost, and then come phpMyAdmin, and then welcome. I come phpMyAdmin and then come to F and H, and then I come here to students, and then let me delete everything that is there by simply selecting all, then supprime, then I delete all of them. Then if I come and refresh here, it should show nothing. You see, they send us an empty array. Okay, so I want to add now student here. Okay, to add a student, so when I add a student, successful. But I want when it comes successful, it should be updated here. But here it will come until I refresh. So if I want to be updated successful, where is successful? I want, so that there's of functions. So I want to be calling this function of updating when it is successful. So I want here, where is the successful? Student, when the success register student, The code is now complex, but not so complex, just a little bit complex. So here. Okay. Where did we clear the form though? This is register student. So when the code is 1 here, having the alert. Okay. So I just, instead of alert, I'll be updating the table. And you know the logic that we have in the function of updating the what? In the function of updating the table. To just delete everything and then get the information from jQuery and then update the whole table again. So there I will have not even refreshed the whole page to get the information. So let me put here Bira Sumaya, age 31, female. So when I click on, now you see, when I click on submit, can you see? She has been updated. Did you refresh the whole page? Nah. Hadi Jaze 12, female. You see, the table has been updated without refreshing anything in the page. So that's the level of JavaScript that you can do for now. So let me put Musa Jalo, and then I put 32 male. Can you see? Without refreshing the whole page, the form will be formatted and this one will be reorganized, and then so it means that it came to the other side and fetched the jQuery and then and fetch the JSON and update the whole table. So for today's class we shall stop from there unless there's a question. I'm going to share this code in Google Classroom. Those who practice more and than the other, you'll reach this level before others, of course. So, and I recommend you to come and practice and reach this video and watch these videos, of course, just for your good. So I stop from there for today.